Welcome back. Well, President Trump calling out Democrats over their opposition to his sanctuary city proposal, tweeting this: if the radical left Democrats all of a sudden don't want the illegal migrants in their sanctuary cities, no more open arms, I guess, why should others be expected to take them into their communities? Go home and come into our country legally and through a system of merit. Wow. Well, here to react to that and a couple other things, Mark Morgan, Border Patrol Chief under former President Obama, former FBI Assistant Director as well. Mark, thanks for being here this morning. We appreciate it. Good morning. Your reaction to the president's proposal that if these borders are open and our policies are what they are, then let's deliver folks to sanctuary cities.
Hey, look, the president is clearly frustrated, and so am I. Every time the president tries to do the right thing to protect these borders, what happens? Congress goes against him. Bad judicial activism to go against him. So he's just, I think this is really being born out of frustration, but he's trying to send a clear message. Because make no mistakes, sanctuary cities are part of this crisis. They are signaling and telling the immigrants, come here illegally, exploit our laws and our generosity. Not only will we take you in, we'll protect you, we'll reward you, and we will thwart the law enforcement from trying to do their job. It's truly unbelievable.
Mark, I understand the president's frustrated, as you say. On the other hand, is this legal? A, you've been in the job before and you understand this better than we do. And B, we understand that there are folks at the Department of Homeland Security who say, wait a second, this will create a new burden on the very ICE agents that we applaud for their efforts to try to help the president and the nation enforce immigration laws. So will this be bad for ICE?
Ed, I think you're right. I think you bring up some good points. One, it'll be a logistical kind of a nightmare, as I see this, to be able to do this. But, the mayor of Chicago, the new mayor of Chicago, said it best. She said, we've been welcoming illegal immigrants for a long time. So the American people need to understand sanctuary cities have been a pull factor. A good chunk of illegal aliens, they are self-deploying themselves to these sanctuary cities. That's where they want to go. So you could argue is, the government would just be expediting the process of getting them to where they want to end up anyway.
Mark, we actually have that sound from the Chicago mayor-elect. I want to listen to exactly what she said and get your reaction specifically.
We are a city that is a sanctuary city. We have immigrants from all over the world who call Chicago their home. They'll continue to do that, and we're going to continue to make sure that this is truly a welcoming community for those immigrants, and we want them to come to the city of Chicago.
I give those mayors of sanctuary cities who will turn around and say, sure, send them on in. I give them some credit, because at least then you're standing by what you preach.
Right, so there's a couple of things we need to dissect in that statement. First of all, there's a confusion between immigrants and illegal immigrants. We're talking about illegal immigrants. We're talking about they're part of the problem when they're telling illegal immigrants, come here, we will protect you and reward you. That is wrong. And any time that our elected leaders, through their own political ideology or their own moral personal beliefs, selectively decide which laws to enforce, that's a slippery slope, and that's what we're talking about. We need to remember, we're talking about illegal immigrants.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark, you talked about the courts. Usually the courts have ruled against this president. There was a ruling in the Ninth Circuit, at least a stay of a ruling, that was a win for the president. Ultimately, he had said that temporarily those seeking asylum in Mexico will stay in Mexico as their case is being adjudicated. It seems that the court has upheld their ability to do so. Your reaction?
Yeah, so I was somewhat surprised in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, but not really, because the Immigration Nationalization Act, Section 235, is very clear on this. The American government absolutely has a right to require the asylum seekers to remain in Mexico. It's there. So this lower court, again, another example of horrible judicial activism. And this action is going to absolutely reduce the American resources of being overwhelmed. It's going to force Mexico to get off the sidelines, and it's going to drastically reduce the incentive of immigrants to come here illegally, exploit our laws and our generosity. I'm telling you, Pete, if this is applied and able to be applied along the southwest border, you're going to see the numbers drastically go down because they're going to realize no more free pass into this country.
Well, it could be a game changer, especially if the rates of actually accepting asylum is very low. You wait there, your claim's adjudicated, and if it's not legit, you go back home. I mean, that makes a lot of sense to people. Absolutely.
Thanks, Mark.
Mark, appreciate you coming in.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Appreciate it.
We've got some